So you all know already that Ms. Turner from the IMC and myself are going to debate against each other just round one. So you can see what the opening statement and what the beginning of an argument should look like, as well as what the rebuttal or the crossfire should look like. So your job while we are presenting is that you need to take Cornell-style notes similar to what we do. We're modeling for you how to do this, but you all need to do that as well. Remember, we split the class in half, so you all are doing exactly what I do, and you all are doing exactly what Ms. Turner does. When she's speaking, you can just listen, and then when she's writing, you'll write what she writes, or at least, kind of listen for my arguments and try to capture those. Same thing here. We are going to be taking notes first, because she's the pro and I'm the con. Pro always speaks first, and then you guys will be taking notes second, okay? Does anybody have questions before we start? No. Okay.
All right. So, public education in the U.S. is in a crisis. With graduation rates of 73%, the United States needs to find solutions to our educational crisis. Voucher programs, a program where parents who want to move their child from a public school to a private school of their choice, could help with this.
So we're going to switch. Remember, you do not start talking back and forth right away. You wait until after both sides have been able to present their opening statements and arguments. Oops, sorry. Yep, I'm not going to let you see my notes. All right, so now you all switch. You guys get to just hang out and listen now as well. And you guys are going to be taking notes. You can go off of Ms. Turner's model, or you can do your own. It's totally up to how you want to structure it. Public education in the United States is in a crisis, and voucher programs will only make the situation worse. This is because of inequality, 3 in particular: inequality of cost, inequality of religion, and inequality of opportunity. And because the disparity between what voucher schools look like on paper versus how they operate in reality is very different. For the opening statement argument, I will focus only on the argument of inequality, all 3 types of inequality. Argument 1, inequality of cost.
Here, and on my line, and then what you're going to see then when we have our opportunity, our 1 minute kind of preparedness for the crossfire, what you're going to see is I've organized my notes in bullets, and then how I'm going to counteract some of these discussions are going to be based on the way that I have my bullet points numbered here. So I have things that I've included in my notes that I didn't include in my opening statement here. Okay, and so that's how I'm going to go ahead and counter argument.
So for you all, a lot of you have your notes in your Google Docs already structured very similarly to how Ms. Turner and I do. You saw on hers, she had one main argument, that idea of crisis, and then all her bullet points were related to that. She had a bunch of facts all organized related to the idea that our schools are in crisis. And that's how I took my notes then. Whoops. Number 1? Access to higher or better academics. That's just my shorthand. Okay, so that's the notes that I took on Ms. Turner's. She basically structured my exact same notes on hers. So I set up my opening statement, and then I had my 1, inequality of money, and then you can't see it, but 2, inequality of blah, blah, of religion, right? So she did the same thing. She said, okay, yes, I acknowledged the crisis in my opening statement, but then she said money, religion, accountability. It's the same exact structure. During the notes, the next stage of this is we get 1 minute prep to be able to prepare our rebuttal, our crossfire questions for each other. So now her task and my task are the same. We have to take our notes that we took on each other's and find holes in it. So I'm going to put mine up here. You guys don't necessarily need to write this at this point. I just kind of want you to watch and listen for when we start Can somebody time us for this minute, though? Because we could. That was time, just like in our opening statements and the way we structured it to start. Pro always gets to go first with questions. So Ms. Turner will ask me a question, I'll respond, I'll get to ask her a question, she'll respond, and we'll kind of go back and time us again. Okay.
So my first question is, the government should support children and not schools. If schools aren't providing good service, why should they receive money and parents not have the choice of where to send their children with the financial assistance and help from the federal government and the state government?
Schools are set up, and where students are supposed to go are set up across the country is based on property taxes, and parents have a right to choose where they live. So they should, if they feel that strongly about an issue with the school, they have the freedom and the choice to move, and I don't see why that's a problem. I have a response to that, and then I will ask my first question. I said in my opening statement under inequality of cost that vouchers do little to decrease costs because in Milwaukee we have had to raise property taxes several times. So people in public schools are paying double as well because of the voucher program. That's my response. My first question for you is that you had said that the schools are based on where people live, and you said those are sometimes low performing. I was wondering how often and where are they low performing, and how is this related to voucher success? In other words, what is the correlation between a low performing public school versus a low performing voucher school, a high performing public school versus a high performing voucher school?
So in Milwaukee, according to the MacIver Institute,
go through then in the round two, and hopefully my round two person would kind of I started laying some groundwork for that idea of, okay, so you're talking about how many people are in it, but what's the graduation rate? What's the success story or the non-success story, right? So my round two, they would try to take that. And Ms. Turner has also laid some good groundwork.
Sure. Each of you going to have a partner working with you. Graduation rate, I have it here, but I couldn't read my notes quick enough. My partner might highlight that and slide it over so that I could go and read it, okay? It may be a good strategy for you in debating to have those note cards of facts so that your partner then, as they're trying to do that counterpoint, can access that information a bit more quickly.
And that, again, is where a lot of you have color-coded notes at this point. You guys are doing a really good job in this class, for the most part, of staying organized with your notes. That organization is going to help you big time next week. Does anybody have questions for us, or about how this is done, or about your role, any of that stuff? Yes, that's what your partners, and that's what I was trying to say before was, as a group, you guys will know your strengths and weaknesses best. So if you need note cards, or even on the Google Doc, if you guys need to kind of talk through how you're going to support each other, now is the time to do that, not the day of. Questions? All right, you want to vote? So vote if Ms. Turner won or if Ms. Griffey won. All in favor of Ms. Turner.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.